Welcome back to the channel IndyAutoMan. My name is Xander, and today's topic is front-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive. Question of the day, which one should you choose? Growing car prices remind motorists of the old question, is all-wheel drive profitable? An all-wheel drive car is more confident in difficult road conditions, but it also costs more and requires additional payments for maintenance and fuel. This guide will help you answer the main question, do I need an all-wheel drive or a front-wheel drive car? All modern cars can be divided into three groups according to the type of drive. There's mono drive, vehicles with front or rear-wheel drive. There's four-wheel drive, SUVs designed to drive off-road. And then there's all-wheel drive, cars with limited automatic all-wheel drive installed in most crossovers. Mono-drive cars have the designation TWD, which stands for two-wheel drive. These are the most ordinary cars on the roads and highways of Indianapolis and other cities. Some cars can drive off-road due to their high ground clearance, but most of them will get stuck in the first puddle. Therefore, those who prefer outdoor activities outside of paved roads need a vehicle with one of these type of all-wheel drive. By analogy, with mono-drive cars stands for four-wheel drive. In the automotive tradition, this inscription is the equivalent to the 4x4 nameplate on many trucks. This type of all-wheel drive can also be divided into two subcategories. Permanent all-wheel drive, the so-called full-time, when all four wheels are constantly spinning. Plug-in all-wheel drive, called part-time, where you can turn on all-wheel drive manually if necessary. Most SUVs have a plug-in drive, so this can significantly save fuel consumption and increase maximum speed. And the last type of drive is AWD, which means all-wheel drive. It would seem the same as four-wheel drive, but it is not. In cars with all-wheel drive, the rear axle is connected automatically only in case the front wheels slip, for example, on wet pavement or in snow. Therefore, it is incorrect to compare them with SUVs. In essence, it is a more advanced version of mono-drive cars. The price here consists of several components. Firstly, all-wheel drive have an initially higher purchase price. The cost is on average of 5 to 10% more than the mono-drive modification. The higher car price with all-wheel drive applies to any class, a full-size SUV, a crossover, or a sedan. The second part of expenses is the maintenance, which in some cases can significantly exceed the costs of conventional car. For all-wheel drive vehicles older than 3 years, it is 10 to 15% more expensive since there are more mechanisms, a transfer case, an interaxle clutch, a second differential, and the second pair of drives, as well as a driveline. And the last part is fuel. Four-wheel drive vehicles usually have a higher fuel consumption, which creates an additional financial burden. Even if you rarely turn on the second pair of wheels, the 4x4 car is heavier, so its fuel consumption can be about half a gallon per 60 miles higher. As for specific models and manufacturers, the more expensive the car, the higher the share of all-wheel drive in sales. For example, a brand like Land Rover or Porsche has 100% all-wheel drive SUVs, since a wealthy buyer does not mind paying extra for an option like that. In budget brands, where the buyer more overtly monitors costs, the share of a front-wheel drive will be significant. Among the premium brands, BMW cars look the most attractive in terms of price and quality. All-wheel drive is available for almost all modifications of all models. The situation is similar to the Mercedes-Benz brand, but for Audi and Jaguar, all-wheel drive is usually available on powerful engines. So the entry price is high, but if you want to buy a used all-wheel drive Audi, you can still find attractive options. Front-wheel drive are usually more fuel efficient. They also require less maintenance because there are fewer moving components. If a car breaks, the parts are typically cheaper and easier to fix. Front-wheel drive vehicles also tend to have more interior space. At the same time, all-wheel drive cars combined with winter tires are the ultimate solution for snowy roads. Most all-wheel drive cars will have better resale value. They are more capable and the demand for such cars is much higher. but you should not expect to get every penny back. Just take it as another advantage. All-wheel drive cars are easier to sell. Insurance for an all-wheel drive car will cost more because the system is more sophisticated. If such a car was totaled, it would cost more to replace it than a front-wheel drive vehicle. All-wheel drive vehicles have more braking and steering concerns. They are more prone to wear due to misalignment, aggressive driving, and underinflated tires. Moreover, if we compare it with four-wheel drive, it has such disadvantages as the need to determine the moment when rotation is required on all wheels. It produces less torque than a four-wheel drive system, cannot downshift for torque. Moreover, cars with all-wheel drive have less ground clearance compared to models with four-wheel drive. Therefore, the cross-country ability is somewhat lower. Before buying an all-wheel drive model, you need to weigh the pros and the cons if you do not drive on a serious off-road. If you have a front-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive dilemma, but there is a great used car with front-wheel drive for sale in Indianapolis, you can easily abandon the all-wheel drive option. At the same time, it is not the best idea to reject a full in favor. Rear-wheel drive cars are much more complicated to drive, and on slippery roads, their behavior is the most dangerous. If you can't make up your mind, visit IndyAutoMan and our qualified sales assistants will help you buy the best model for your lifestyle, budget, and needs.